And this is WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. And welcome to the show with no name. Back after a couple of weeks hiatus. Let's see if we got all our microphones on today.
Hi, who?
I'm
on.
Okay.
No, am I on?
Finally, everything works right off the bat. Terrific.
We were hi, who?
Videos on. Yeah, who?
Huh?
We were on a hiatus.
Oh, hiatus.
Hiatus for a couple of weeks here. We had to, wait till Sam got back from his cruise to
That's right.
figure out where we were going.
And we were going right here.
We were going right here. So we're back with the show with no name.
He must have had SPF 50 on it because he didn't get a tan. Either that or he spent the time in the casino.
Well, they could have. I don't know. But, he's Sam's something of a night owl. He was probably, napping during the day when the sun was out. Yeah. Does he think he's a buffet kind of guy?
I think he is. Yeah.
Wow.
Cruise ships have great buffets.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never been on a cruise.
Me either. Me either.
Rumor has it.
I hear the stories and
My kids keep going on cruises. But,
Yeah? They don't take you?
No. It's never been brought up, actually.
Well, maybe it is now.
Yeah.
Planting the seed.
They'll take the hint.
Well, let's see. I hope my Louisa made it back last night. She was she had a business trip to Peoria, Illinois yesterday, and last I heard she'd been stuck on the tarmac in Chicago for a couple hours. So
Is it that sticky?
it could be. It could
that
be.
why?
It gets hot there. The tar on the Mac gets gets a little soft.
Our show plays well in Peoria.
Oh, yeah. Plays well many places.
So I don't know. I know she made it from Peoria to Chicago, but I don't think we ever got the I made it back to Boston text message. So
You have to
I hope
go
so.
through Peoria from Chicago to get to Boston?
Peoria, Chicago, Boston. Yeah, on the way back. On the way over, it was something else. I don't know. I forget. D.C., I think. Hey, what's available? Yeah. It was a business trip. They fly you out for a 3-hour business meeting, and you get on the plane and you fly back. Yeah.
Have they heard of Skype?
It's one of her benefits.
Oh, okay.
The other day she was in Detroit, I think. Was it Detroit? Or was that one of the...
Yeah, but a lot of
Yeah, I think so.
business trips you don't have time to do any sightseeing. You got to
Well, no,
you
she
go
had no
there,
time
have your
for
meeting, and you
sightseeing.
shoot
Yeah.
back.
That's it. All in one day. She did
All
it
in
one
day.
day or last week, too. Yeah.
Well, what you got to do is after you get there, after your meeting, is you fake you're sick that you can't come right home. You got to stay there.
Oh, trust me, the place that she works, they got a different set of work rules altogether. You feel like going in today? Yeah, go in today. You want to work at home? Work at home. I don't know. So anyway, that's a. Oh, I guess we got a call.
we got a call.
People have been
waiting 2
anxious.
weeks.
People have been building up opinions.
Been
over
on
2
hold
weeks.
for 2 weeks.
This is WCSS. You're on the air. Hello. Oh, there you are. You there?
You're funny there.
Okay, I got you now. Let's start over. This is WCSS. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, Robert.
Hi.
Oh, hey, look.
What's up?
How's this up in Amsterdam? Pretty good.
So far, so good. Yeah. What do you? How are things where you are?
Well, right now I'm up there. I'm up there in Cleveland, Tennessee. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, you asked me before, remember? So
Wow.
I'm gonna ask you something, Bob. Maybe, you remember when Marvell was the mayor and Marcus Breyer?
Yeah. Sure. I knew those guys.
Okay, I was up there back then, and look how nice city was back then, And what I'm really trying to say, I mean, I think the old timers will come back and getting off again, So.
Well, Mr. Breyer unfortunately passed away last year, but I
Oh
think.
no, I know he did. Yeah, of course.
Mr. Villa is going strong.
Oh yeah, he's.
Mario's.
He's down here as well. He's a very strong person. I guess I told their talk show,
Yeah.
and he's a very strong guy. And I like to see Vito come on.
Vito, yeah,
He's
Vito's
on
still
the
around. Sure, Vito could run
But I
again.
can tell you something. I hope that Jimmy Disclosure runs again for all in the world, So.
All right. Okay, you
Okay, bye, thanks, bye.
All right. Take care, Paul. Bye-bye. All right. So, we have listeners everywhere.
Everywhere. Tennessee,
Tennessee, Massachusetts.
the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they're still in Ukraine where she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so what else is on the front page?
Well, so much has happened since we were here last. You know, we got all these built-up opinions. I got, somebody just mentioned on Facebook. Hey, is anybody paying any attention to the fact that we still don't know how much money the city has? How many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars we've spent on outside experts and additional staff so we can straighten out the books? Where are they?
They asked for an extension again for the update document. They sent it to the controller who was in charge there. They're still not ready for the
Look.
for the
We
10
just ended the 2013-14 fiscal year, correct?
the 10 and
that ended on June 30th.
The
So
10,
they've
11
got
is-
90 days for that.
The 10-11 isn't done yet.
Yeah, well, we haven't done 2011, 2012, 2011, 2012,
None of them.
2012,
None of them.
13. I don't think we've done 2010, 2011.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
No, that's what they're looking for, the extension to do that one because they can't find the money.
Because it's not there. They spent more than they budgeted, and nobody approved it. And we knew it at the time. The mayor kept approving hours and hours and hours of overtime, and the controller kept paying it.
She says it doesn't matter. You don't have any money. You still got to do business.
Yeah. Okay. Is that ours?
Must
Take a
be.
chance.
This is WCSS. Is this for the talk show?
Yes.
Well, you're on the air. Hello?
Bob,
Yes. Yes, you're on the air. Hello?
I meant to I'm sorry to hear about your mother-in-law that passed away.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And you know what? I remember her house because it was on the corner of 2nd and Vanderveer. When
Yeah.
I was a little kid growing up, they used to have a 50 Plymouth in that garage.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful car, and I always wondered what happened to the house and to the people that lived there.
Well, what happened to the people who lived there? Well, the people who lived there have all but one passed away. There's only one left, and that's Uncle Bill in Princetown. Yep.
Yeah, I remember Mrs. Thacker, and I remember his wife.
Yeah.
'Cause he-
They tell me in the old days, my wife's grandfather used to put the car up on blocks in the winter because
Right, he did.
because on Park Hill you couldn't. They never plowed the snow, so there was no point.
Right.
Yeah. So they took the tires off, put the car up on blocks, and come spring they put it back on the road again.
That car was so great. It was a 50 Plymouth.
Yeah. I never knew my wife's grandfather or her grandmother.
Well, they were nice people. I met
Yeah.
them once, I think, when I rode my bike through there.
Yeah.
I stopped and talked to him.
Yeah. They both were immigrants from Poland and ended up sending nearly all of their kids to college. More than half of them became teachers. One was a college professor out at Cornell.
Yeah.
They really did well.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I wasn't going to bring that up, but as long as she brought it up. Yeah, my mother-in-law passed away last Thursday night, and I want to thank both you guys for your kindness and always being there. And, of course, the Stonehouse Piper performed magnificently, as always.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And he also grew yet another foot since the last time I saw him.
That's
He must be
unbelievable.
towering over you guys
Wow.
right now.
Yeah,
huh?
he is.
Wow.
You got to stop feeding him that genetically engineered food because
Yeah.
that's what's doing it.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Got to be.
Chernobyl fortified milk he grew up
Wow.
on. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
But, their funerals are sad things, but I tell you, she knew exactly when to go. If she'd waited another 20 minutes, it would have been her one of her grandchildren's birthday.
She didn't wanna-
So for the rest of her life, she happy birthday. Bad she died.
Yeah, she didn't want to update.
And
upstage.
the following day, the day actually we had the funeral, was my brother-in-law's birthday. So, And today's our anniversary, so, you know.
Congratulations. What
Happy anniversary.
30 what years?
36.
36.
Wow, that's
Anyways, I would like to say a couple of things. The care she received at the Wilkinson residential healthcare facility was absolutely outstanding. I mean, it was so far above and beyond. She'd been in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and all she kept saying was, you know, it was like, Dorothy, I want to go home. I want to go home.
Sure.
And so we finally made the arrangements. By the time we made the arrangements, she had slipped into a coma. But she wanted to be in her own room and her own surroundings, and they made all the arrangements. And when the ambulance brought her back to the Wilkinson, there were like 20 staff people met her at the elevator, even though they knew she was in a coma, you know, just to welcome her back, including people who were off duty. And the next day, which, you know, turned out to be her last day, a couple of the ladies came in on their day off to wash her hair and make her comfortable, you know. And I'm absolutely astonished. And they were very accommodating for all of us coming in and out for the rest of the day. And they put out, you know, quietly put out a food tray for us with the snacks and the hot and cold drinks and everything. So you wouldn't have to go running to the cafeteria or something. Everything's right there. You can stay with her. Magnificent. And when she died, they sent the security guard down to open the door for the rest of us, so we didn't have to ring the bell and wait. And everything about it. I mean, the compassionate care she received up there, I'm sure is typical of the care everybody receives up there. I couldn't say enough. It was great. And all things considered, the funeral went well because most everybody was en route or planning to be en route anyway, so we ended up having to do it quickly on Saturday morning so that it hadn't even really hit most people's newspaper yet, but they were already double booked for Monday for funerals. Did you hear that list in church yesterday?
Yes, I did.
It just went on. There had been 8 or 9 funerals in the last week that they announced. Wow. Well, anyway, so.
Well, on a happy note, I wasn't one of them.
That's correct. I mean, good to see you, Jim. You're looking well. You're looking well. You're looking well. Oh my goodness. 843-2500 is the number if you've got.
You check that page every day just to make sure. Right?
Every day I check.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, there's the big controversy. Controversy is still the casino. I heard several days of comments again, and you know, who's for it and who's against it, and you know what it's going to do and what it's not going to do. So.
And they're both wrong, and we hate them. Really, it has, you know, it has stirred up some passions.
It sure has. It sure has.
It's like anything that's tried to come into the MCM. There's a lot of baggage that comes on both sides of it.
Definitely.
And in and of itself.
There's a pro casino guy out there.
Yep. You had to show the sign. So
you know, in and of itself, it's not going to save the city, but as part of a whole package, you can go a long ways to do a lot for the city that we're hoping it would do.
Yeah, it could do some good things for the city, but it can also do some bad things for the city, which we can't foresee now.
Well, if it doesn't come here, it definitely won't do anything good for us.
That definitely. So.
Well, okay. It's not but. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. It's WCSS. You're on the air.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Good.
Good morning.
Hey, I got a question for you. Because you're like the answer man of Amsterdam.
Yeah, we always have an answer, whether we make it up on the spot or not. You have to judge for yourself.
May not always
See,
be
that's
right.
another good answer. And considering your age, which is relatively young,
I'm 63. Wait a minute. I'm 63 years old.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Bob?
You must be. Yeah, you must be talking to you, Jim.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, Sunday was the 20th. There were some reports about, or some news items about the 45th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing.
Yeah, on my Facebook page and 2 or 3 others, yeah.
And how we beat the Soviets to the moon, and so on and so on.
Wow.
My question to you, other than the United States of America, has anybody else successfully set down on the moon? Any other countries?
Not in person, no. No. The only Americans have ever walked on the moon.
So we beat the Soviets to the moon, but what'd they do? Give up?
Yeah, they quit right after that. It's not much remembered now, but when we were about to launch Apollo 11, about a day earlier or 2 days earlier, the Russians also launched a rocket to the moon. And it was believed, I don't know if they ever confirmed this after the Cold War ended. We'll have to ask our friends in the former Soviet Union. The Russians had sent a rocket ship up with the plan that, well, they couldn't put men on the moon. Clearly, their manned space program had fallen way behind ours. But what they were planning on doing was to land on the moon, scoop up some moon rocks, and get them back to Earth before the Apollo 11 crew came back.
That's an unmanned venture?
Yeah, it was an unmanned venture, yeah. And apparently it didn't work. And I don't know whether they crash landed on the moon or just missed it altogether, I forget. But the Russians were rushing to the moon, and didn't happen.
And China never made it either.
Well, China's actually got an active program now where they've got a goal of setting men on the moon within a few years. And they do have a manned space program, so that could happen. They could be the next ones there.
But nobody's
Okay,
been there
I
yet.
knew you had the answer.
Oh, wait, yeah, if it's about the space program, you'll probably get a fairly reliable answer from me.
I got one more question for you, and I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to hang up and listen to your answer.
Okay.
I'm going to be in town in Amsterdam tonight, and I was wondering if you know if there's any place in Amsterdam where I can go to get a good pizza. I'll hang up and wait for your answer.
You know, it's funny he should mention that, especially at this opportune moment, because if you want really, really good pizza in Amsterdam,
If you want the best pizza,
you want the best pizza actually in the Capital District, voted on multiple times over the years. You have to go to Crystal on Forest. You know
Exactly.
Tony Sentai is third generation of his family organizing the pizza operation there. He doesn't make them, every one of them personally, but he oversees the making of the pizzas.
Last Friday, during the week, keeps telling me though, somebody's got better pizza, somebody's got better. I said, I'm going to try one of them tonight. That was Friday.
You mean you got a pizza from someone other than our sponsor?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yes,
just
I
for
did.
comparison purposes.
Yes, exactly.
Well, let's not mention the name.
No, I'm not going to mention the name. It was good, but was not as good as Crystal on Forest. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just something in it that just grabs. Back here, and I'm pointing to the back of my neck, is when you bite into it, you get that feeling in the back that the flavor. I don't know how to. It's almost like Elaine's eggplant.
Yeah.
just don't bother going anyplace else.
You know, she ought to go she ought to go work up there.
Well, I can't wait to go home because she's frying some now. So.
Oh. Well, I tell you, we haven't had much pizza from there lately. It's been a little warm. We're there 2-3 days a week, hitting the ice cream. Now, as far as I know, Tony's never been in the ice cream business before, but he's managed to do that as well as he does the other part of the operation. And I think just yesterday or the day before, within the last couple of days, he put in a new machine up there. So he now has 24 flavors of soft ice cream.
No.
Yes, I'm not kidding.
There's not 24 flavors in the world.
Well, I don't know. There is now. There's Howard Johnson and Tony Johnson there. So.
There. You have to tell me these things. Now I have to go.
You have to go up there.
I got to go get ice cream now.
Yeah. Now me, I go up there. I go up there and ask for vanilla. What would you like? Oh, could I have vanilla?
Do you have vanilla?
Do you have vanilla? Is vanilla your special today? So yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh, 24 flavors. All in one machine. I guess it shoots the flavors into the ice cream right when you order it. You just.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to go and test that out.
We will have to do that. We will have to do that because that's Crystalline Forest.
Crystalline Forest.
You got to be someplace. That's the place to be.
The place to be.
Yeah.
All right.
You might run into one of us up there and have a chance to talk to us in person.
Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe.
There you go.
This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hello. My boyfriend and I stopped there yesterday. We had the German chocolate ice cream. Very, very tasty. But there was not enough hot fudge on my sundae.
Well, when there's German chocolate, how much more hot fudge do you want here?
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
We'll make a mention of that.
We'll relay that message.
The German chocolate was one of the soft ice cream flavors, was it, ma'am? Oh, well, anyway, happy anniversary. That was my wife. She likes to help do the commercial. But yes, she was one of the first people to
She
order
wouldn't
off
talk
the new
to you, though.
machine. Yeah. Oh, no. She always says, I went with my boyfriend. I had to stop and think, did I take her yesterday? Yeah. All right.
You're up again.
What?
No, you're not.
No, there's nobody there.
There was.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah, it flicked. I saw it
It wasn't a
flicker.
Wow.
figmentation of my imagination.
It could have been a
was there.
figmentation of your imagination. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. We got an award. We got an award. I'll read it to you. I found this in my mailbox. It's
Anonymous?
no, well, it's not. I mean, I know who put it there, but it's the Pentagon Coin. Pentagon Coin is awarded to the show with no name for outstanding support to the troops during their many broadcasts. Additionally, the award also recognizes the hosts, Bob, Jim, and Gavin, for their public service to the community.
There you go.
And
What a beautiful piece of parchment, too, it came out.
well, there's no. This is you'll like the medal here. This is actually given to people for public service and
Really?
support of the troops.
Wow.
And delighted to receive
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Hold it up so that people can see it.
Yeah. Well, there's the cameras up here, guys. Yeah. Okay. Wait, you want me to hold it up to the microphone?
I see.
All right. If you watch this later, you might be able to see this. I don't know. Okay. So we thank the folks at the Pentagon. One of the high-ranking officer actually presented this to us.
That's great.
Wow.
That's something else. That's
I never got an award before.
Certainly not for doing the radio show.
No.
wow. That's terrific.
It is terrific.
I'd gotten a couple of things when I've left places, so I don't know if it's because I was leaving I got those things, but never while I was never on active duty. Wow.
I'll tell you, I never heard of this coin.
Yeah, I once received the Commander's Coin, which is given for, special outstanding service, and that was when I had written my first book on the World War II veterans. Well, not the veterans, but the ones who had been killed in the war. So I'm greatly honored to receive this.
Oh,
Yes,
Delighted to receive
definitely,
this.
definitely.
Okay, I don't know that we've earned it, but let's try to live up to it. Okay, so let's see. The southern border is secure. All the Democratic leaders tell us so.
Yeah,
So
the one
we don't
guy's-
have to worry about that.
put 1,000 National Guard on the
1,000
border
guys,
yesterday.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's no need for it because Harry Reid says the border is secure. Nancy Pelosi says the border is secure.
Oh, then there's nothing to worry about then.
Yeah. we're
Nothing
good.
to worry
We're
about.
good.
Nothing to worry about.
Except the $7 billion that he wants to use to make sure it's secure.
All those cities to whom been gifted the illegal immigrants who've come in over the last months should quantify their expenses dealing with them in all aspects and send a bill to Barack and allow him the opportunity to put money into their coffers to cover the costs.
Yeah, well,
Because he's not doing anything, and since he's not, at least he could do is chip in and help him pay for the cost of caring for these folks.
Now, this is interesting, this border crossing crisis that just developed. They sent out requests for proposals a year and a half ago to social service agencies around the country, having them bid on taking care of this influx of children from Central America that will be coming sometime in the future. This whole thing is planned, pre-planned with not only the approval, but with the direction of the White House. They knew in advance and prepared in advance with these other countries to send all these children across the border, so that there would be a humanitarian crisis that would force the Congress to act to put through that amnesty program and make sure they all get registered to vote.
Now, thinking back to geography, Mexico is a pretty long country.
Yes.
So it would take a while to traverse from the southern border of Mexico up to the U.S. border. And I would think there would be ample opportunity
to find a place to perch.
To turn them back.
Now, in fact, yesterday I read a pretty detailed legal analysis of international law and stuff like that. And, you know, there are provisions under various treaties whereby if people are fleeing for their lives, they're allowed temporary refuge in the nearest country. Well, we're not the nearest country, okay? Perhaps there may be some Mexicans in North Mexico who feel a need to,
escape the cartels.
Escape the cartels, run for their lives across the border. But these people we're talking about here are from Guatemala, El Salvador, and all these other Central American countries. What the heck? You can stop at any one of these places. You can stop in the nearest village and then consult your local consulate or the UN refugee people, and they're taken care of.
And I think they're closer to South America than they are to...
Well, they're closer to a lot of places. So the fact of the matter is, Barack Obama opened the border against the law.
Among
as simple as that. He's ignoring the law and opening and just opened wide the border to create a crisis.
There is no border.
Now that is an impeachable offense. I know Sarah Palin's been getting a lot of heat on this. I do not believe that Congress should impeach the president, only because because it'll never get past the Senate. They'll never get the 67 votes in the Senate they need to impeach him. That doesn't mean I don't think he's impeachable. I think he's committed numerous impeachable offenses, and this is just one of them. The guy's out of control, completely out of control.
No, he's completely in control because he's allowing this to happen under his watch.
Yeah.
And he's
more than allowing it, he's directing it.
And he's getting away with it.
He has removed himself from the position of governance.
That's right. That's right.
Because he is not governing. He is sitting back, and even when he's at the White House, what he is attempting to do is not successful, if he's attempting to do anything.
Wow. Well, I should mention that you're listening to WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. I'm Bob Going with Gavin Murdoch and Jim Nikosha. 8432500 is our number if you've got anything you want to talk about. Well, let's talk about this basketball hoop thing a minute. Gavin and I did a podcast last week without you, Jim. We forgot to tell you. But,
see that?
But then you showed up on Friday when we weren't going to have one anyway. So, if we hadn't had the death in the family, I probably would have done one with you. Well, you're a hero. Let's do the show. But it's the way we do it. Just throw the camera on and sit on the porch and talk, like we're doing now.
Yeah.
This is all we do. We just sit around and talk.
This basketball hoop thing. The kids got to have some place to play basketball. As long as they move out of the road when a car's coming.
That's right.
Let them go. Down on the end of West Main Street where it goes into the arterial.
Yeah.
There used to be one of those basketball hoops. What do they call it? The portable
hoops. Yeah.
Used to be there in the corner. Guess what? They took it off the platform and they put it in the ground just inside the curb. I saw that. Wow.
So they can't confiscate that one.
And
No, this is just a cranky neighbor syndrome. I think this is a terrible, terrible way to govern. And I support the mayor's veto. However, the mayor somehow always makes it impossible for me to give my unconditional support, because I understand. I believe this to be true. If it's not, please somebody correct me. But I believe it to be true that the mayor initially signed this ordinance
Yes.
and then later vetoed it. Well, once you
She
signed,
was for it before she was against
well,
it?
yes. So I don't see how legally, once you've signed it, it's signed. It's the ordinance.
She's following the president's lead, Bob. He signed Obamacare, and then he decides what he's going to enforce
well, yeah,
and not enforce.
Well, but this
it's
is
the
more
way
than,
of governance.
This is more than
2000.
enforcing or not enforcing. It's as though he signed Obamacare and vetoed it the next day. You can't do that. Once you've signed it, you've signed it. It's it's a
you can't
It's a
veto.
final definitive act. You can't then veto it the next day or 2 days later, and then. To make it worse, I heard there was some, I've heard some opposition to this. I'm sorry. What are you put in office for? You're put there to make this. If it's a good idea, then say it's a good idea. Sign the thing, which she did. If it's a bad idea, then veto it. You don't
Which she
wait
did.
until you check the pulse to see if your friends support it or don't support it. Come on.
You got to let the kids.
That's not leadership.
You got to let the kids play. You know,
And you got to let. Bottom line, I support the veto. I don't support doing it wrong.
You know, I drive down the street and the kids are playing in the road, and I say, Jesus, I wish those kids would move.
And they do.
But they do.
They do.
But I'm glad they've got some
So
place to play.
you probably didn't watch the podcast last week because
No, I didn't.
Gavin and I did Simon and Garfunkel thing. It's if you're in such a hurry, don't be in such a hurry.
Slow down.
If you can't
Slow
wait,
down, you move too fast.
Slow down, you move too fast.
Yeah.
Got to make the
We
morning
got a
last.
call. Somebody
Digging down the cobblestone.
weighing in.
Looking for fun and feeling groovy.
Don't sing, guys. Just answer the phone.
This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hi. This is about basketball.
Yeah.
You know, all the people that seem to be against it, did they grow up in the city? Did they ever play in the street? And if there's only 4 basketball courts in Amsterdam, all the people that are against the children having basketball in the street, are they willing to go around and pick these children up
No.
and take them to the basketball court, perhaps, and maybe wait and bring them back home?
And did they ever invite him over for milk and cookies? You know,
No.
I don't. You know, as I said on
You
the
know, they need to get over it. These grumpy people.
That's right.
Let the children be children.
That's
Next, you'll
right.
wonder why they're in trouble.
And-
Let them play basketball.
Yeah.
If they don't move, you call the police. The police will do their job.
I've never seen
What's
a
the big
situation where they
deal,
didn't move.
people? Let
I
the
haven't
children
either. I
play.
haven't either.
Thank you for your time.
I agree with you
Have a
100%,
great
ma'am.
day.
100%.
You know,
We played-
They may be slow in moving, but you know they're kids. What do you expect them
There's
to run?
nothing that delights me more than seeing happy kids playing.
You know what?
We played wiffle ball, kickball,
Everything in
basketball, football in the street.
Jim played Mumbledy Peg.
Ooh, it wasn't tough getting that knife through that
Well,
asphalt.
we weren't allowed to have knives officially.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you were lucky the roads didn't have asphalt in those days. You just went right in the dirt.
Right?
Should have got my mumbly peg knife.
That's
The,
right. That's right.
I'll leave home without it. But
This group of what's the name of the group up there? The Bacon?
wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. I'm forgetting already. They have this 3-on-3 tournament that they have every year where they hit.
They
probably
had
hit-
hundreds show
Listen.
up for that tournament.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
7-8 years ago, I went to the Recreation Commission with newspaper articles out of Norwich, New York. 3-on-3, Gus Macker, 3-on-3 tournament. They had people, 5,000 and 6,000 people coming from out of town to watch these kids. But they weren't all kids. They were from little kids to professionals. Last week I was down there, and they had the same thing. I didn't go down and watch it, but I picked up a couple newspapers. They had upwards of 11,000 people come in to participate and watch this 3-on-3.
Norwich is not a big town.
No, it's smaller than Amsterdam, smaller than Johnstown. Now, they've had this information for several years. The first time I saw it, there was a $4,000 fee to start this, to have them come in and do everything for you, and I was going to pay for it out of my alderman's salary, which was $5,000. The recreation department at the time said no. They didn't want them to come in. They didn't want to sponsor it. So let's see if maybe somebody else has gone there. Maybe somebody else has seen it. Maybe they'll get on the stick. Maybe they'll 11,000 people for a 3-day weekend. Wow. Food vendors all the way up and down the streets. Free newspaper. Giving the 400 to 600 people playing in the tournament, and they're figuring that there's 5 or 6 people for each person in the tournament.
Oh.
But the one they had in Amsterdam certainly was on a smaller scale, but they had hundreds of kids up there playing in this tournament, which is greater than we've had before. Every year it's gotten to be bigger and bigger, and it's been all organized through this organization, and it's not been organized through
when we were in high school, we used to have the Labatt Invitational Tournament.
on Easter vacation.
It was a 2-on-2 on Easter vacation. It was played in Jim Labatt's backyard, and that tournament went on the whole week. I think pretty much. It was a double elimination. I think. No, it couldn't have been double elimination. We actually won a game. Must have been a single elimination.
One and done.
But I actually, well, of course, I had Oris Babiak as my partner, who was 6'6", and
give me the ball.
Built like a concrete pillar.
You just keep throwing the ball.
Yeah. I just here you go, Oris. As long as we're up against Larry Borwat or somebody. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Yeah, this basketball stuff. This cracks me up. You guys are my age, except for the old timer that you got in the back there.
Yeah.
Listen, how about this concept? I can never remember my father or mother driving me to the park so I can go play. How about getting your butt up out of bed, get dressed, keep your cell phone home, and walk to the park? Good exercise. Play your basketball. You don't want to play basketball at the park? How about the swimming pool? You don't want to go swimming in the swimming pool? Go to the baseball diamond and play baseball. You don't like baseball? Grab a fishing pole and go fishing. How about, if you don't like any of that stuff, take a broom and sweep up in front of your house and clean it? I'm tired of catering to these kids 24/7. Let them be kids. Let them get out and get some exercise, and we wouldn't have such a freaking obese nation.
Yep.
I guess I said my piece.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you hit it right on the head. I went to a graduation party a couple of weeks ago, and there were some young kids there. And since this was
that's a relative term in your case.
Well, this was relative too.
Okay.
So we sat down. I said, "Looking, kids," I says, "no cell phones." I said, "If you're at this party," I says, "no cell phones." One of the kids was getting very, very edgy. He kept pulling it out, and I says, "Put it away." He was very, very excited and
he was nervous
that he's put
jumpy.
Yeah,
you got the DTs from no cell phone contact.
So he ended up.
I see that all the time.
Yeah. And I got one in my pocket, and I think I used it. I think once last month, once the month before.
Yeah. WCSS, you're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, this is a terrific day. It's my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Okay. The basketball hoop ordinance is just another tool for the police to deal with the kids that will not move out of the street. That's all it is. It's another tool.
You didn't need it.
Because
We had
It's a cranky neighbor proposition. I'm sorry.
we had that on the books years ago, and it's still there that they're get out of the road when a car comes.
Absolutely. But you know what? They don't. But when the cops come, they move. And when they move out the road,
They move right back.
when they're playing at an intersection and they don't move, what do you do?
I don't know. Is this really a problem? Because I've got one in my neighborhood I pass every day, and I've never had a problem with it. Never had a problem.
Unfortunately, not all of us live in the good neighborhood.
It's not the good neighborhood I'm talking about. I'm talking about the neighborhood I drive through, not the one I live in.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the only way the police are going to enforce it is if somebody calls and says there's a problem. They're not going to drive around looking for an issue, okay?
Well, then why pass legislation looking for issues?
Yeah, they can do that. They can do that anyway.
The tool is to keep them out of the street altogether. What is wrong with kids playing in the street as long as they get out of the way when the cars come? What is wrong with that?
They're not getting out of the way when the cars come.
I've never seen that happen, not once.
Yeah.
You're very lucky. That's all I can say.
If your car keeps moving, eventually somebody's going to move. Somebody's going to.
Or they move close enough so that you can run over their toes. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll let you go.
No, I understand.
It's another tool in the
I
package.
understand what you're saying. I just think you're wrong. Okay.
Pardon me?
I understand what you're saying. I just think you're wrong.
I know.
Okay.
That's okay.
I mean,
I
it's
respect everybody's opinion.
and I respect your opinion.
And you're doing a good job.
Yes,
besides
you
that.
are. Yes, you are. I just think you're wrong on
At
this.
least I'm trying.
You are. Yes, you are.
And you're doing a good job.
You are doing a good job. I just think you're wrong.
Thanks,
on
guys.
that. Okay.
I'll let you go. Bye.
This is WCSS. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello. The reason why I'm calling is about the lady that threw up basketball hoops. I think it's wrong. I think these kids need something to do. There's nothing in this area for them to do.
You're in favor of letting the kids play in the street hoops as opposed to being...
All the kids got to do is they got to move out the way. You
Absolutely.
know,
Exactly.
Just move out the way.
Absolutely.
Move out the way. I mean, there's nothing in this area for these kids to do nothing. I mean, it's not a YMCA downtown. They took in, they put in the town of Amsterdam, and I mean, it's nothing here for these kids, and now they want to take the basketball hoops away from them, and I don't think that's right.
I don't either.
But there's
I
all.
just don't think,
As long as they move when the cars come, let them
kids don't
play.
got nothing. They don't have nothing.
They don't need anything. They have themselves. They have their own minds. They can always find something to do.
And this is what they're doing.
And
They found basketball.
And what's wrong with basketball? What's
Nothing.
wrong with playing wiffle ball in the street? What's wrong with the fire hydrant being first base? Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Let the kids use their imaginations
And
instead of
play.
locking them up and.
In another 2 months, they'll be playing football in the road.
And we have to have they have to fit into our organization. No, let kids. Grab a bat and a ball, go over to the Four Diamonds, and pick up a game.
But government is supposed
Right.
to legislate every portion of your life, Bob.
That's it. That's
Well,
it.
they're trying to. They're trying to.
They're
You know
getting
what I
pretty darn
say?
close to
You
it.
know what I say? The city needs to put up basketball hoops, and if they're going to ban it, put those hoops up tomorrow. Put them up quicker than what you're going to take. They're going to take a long time to put them up.
Absolutely. How hard is that? How hard is that? But they spend more time talking about it than it would take to put a net up, for God's sakes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys keep up the good work,
Thank
and
you.
Thank
keep
you.
spreading the word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you very much. 36 years.
Wow.
Wow. That's close.
Cleaning out the attic, I'm coming across some stuff. But some of it, I just, I have to stop. Why did I save this at all? In the first, I mean, we had one we were puzzling over last night. It was the St. Mary's Church Bulletin, very crisp, in good shape.
Uh-huh. What was in it?
Nothing that pertained to us whatsoever, as far as I could tell. And I looked through every line. I mean, yeah, there was a second cousin once removed had a mass said for her husband, but she did that every month as long as she lived. So it wasn't that,
Yeah, but it just happened to go in the box that was being stored. That's
I don't know. Anyway, this getting back to the anniversary, I find this one from November of '77. And I think, why did it? It's a whole issue of the Recorder. And I'm going through page after page. It was an election issue, but I could have cared less about that, the alderman election. Wickham either got beat or got reelected. I forget. That was about it. Then I found it. There was a photograph, not advertising, but announcing the upcoming community concert. It was a Preservation Hall Jazz Band, which I took Mary to see. We were dating at the time. And I saved that newspaper because that's where I proposed to her.
Oh, he has a Preservation Jazz Hall?
Yeah, Preservation Hall Jazz Band concert at the Amsterdam High School. In the Bert DeRose Auditorium, I proposed to my wife. Yep.
Is that where she accepted, or did she accept someplace else?
She accepted on the spot. I believe her entire answer was yup.
Yep.
Yeah.
People thought that answer, didn't she?
Yep. She did ask me later if I was serious about it. Oh, no, that was a serious request.
And you already said yep, so...
Okay. You said yep, that's it. It's binding.
That's right. It's binding, just like that just like that bill that the mayor signed.
Yeah.
and then later vetoed. So you're lucky. Mary didn't veto it after.
Anyway, so many years later, we were down in New Orleans, and we went down to Preservation Hall and caught a concert on. The best entertainment deal on the planet. Now, the whole place is the size of these two studios, and there's a bench. Most people stand through it. There's a bench. There's a couple of pillows on the floor. We got there early, so we sat on the bench, eventually moved to the pillows, and the pillows were so close to the band that the slide trombone is going right over Mary's head as they're playing, seriously. And some of these guys are in their 90s. They played with Louis Armstrong, for God's sake. But, wow, what music. And the building looked like it had not been changed since the 1920s, seriously.
Really?
There was nothing about it had changed. Just a hole in the wall. $5.
$5.
We were there for 2.5 hours, I think. Yeah. And they make their extra money if you want a specific request.
Yeah.
You give them $3, but it's $10 if you want the Saints go marching in. And if they play this same song twice, it's never the same. It's not remotely the same. They'll do it one way one time, and the next time is completely different. Oh, it was fantastic. Old guy was in charge, and he would do things like he just kind of lean over his shoulder and say, "Lady, be good." And on the count of three, they're boom, every one of them in key.
Right on
absolutely
time.
fantastic.
Right on time.
Wow,
that's great. Yeah.
Actually, I think we saw him 3 times. So I think we saw him at SPAC one time too. Yeah,
I heard. But this is a Amsterdam shows. I heard last week that they closed up the pool because the pH and the chlorine level was too low. That they.
Well, it could be. They would have to do that.
They closed it up. Yeah.
It was open.
And they didn't have enough lifeguards on duty at the time.
It's It's as one who has now owned a swimming pool for some years. Let me tell you, it ain't always easy to keep them out. Especially when you're adding water or when it rains. We've had a lot of rain, and then the rainwater is more acidic, and then it throws once you throw the pH out of balance, the chlorine's out of balance, and
I had one for a while, and
that's a lot of water. I mean, that's a big pool, so to get it all into equilibrium is not easy.
I was happy when mine broke, so I could get rid of it. I didn't have to clean it anymore.
You know what's been missing this summer, Bob?
What's that?
The recorder section of what happened 50, 60, 75
in the sports section?
It hasn't been in the last few weeks, and it's
sorely I just thought it was because we were off the air.
No, they hadn't been doing it before we were off the air, too. Just what happened? I want to know.
Yeah, because that's a great feature.
It was a fantastic feature.
They're still running Hugh Dowland's column.
Yes, they are.
And it is still as witty and pertinent as ever. I mean, it's amazing how they're running it like on the same dates as 1938
Yeah.
or whatever it was. I think it's 38.
You know, the quality of writing and the tongue-in-cheek that he used when he wrote these pieces is phenomenal. You know, it's not your typical sports reporter. You know,
when I was doing my World War II research, I could always tell there was byline or no byline. I could always tell when Hugh Donlan wrote an article or an editorial because it had that. It was great. Oh, what a great writer, great man.
And you can see the coverage that the paper had because a lot of what he writes about isn't just within the city; it's within the county. So
Right.
the contacts he had and the amount of time that he spent at these other meetings and events and gatherings was tremendous.
And then he would just pick up the amusing anecdote coming out of it. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned it on the radio program, but I'm sure I've mentioned it. There used to be a barber shop on Railroad Street near the Recorder,
Yeah.
between the Main Street and the Recorder. And I'm sure the guys at the Recorder used to hang out there, and I'm sure Donlan was sitting in one chair or another when this incident takes place. Yeah. J. Donald Smealy, the owner of Smealy and Voorhees Paper Mill, and fairly well-off gentleman, comes in for a haircut, and he asks the barber, "I'm really in a hurry. Can you get me out of here in 10 or 11 minutes?" And the barber says, "Yeah, sure."
That had to be Pee-wee the barber.
It could have been Pee-wee. I don't know. I forget when it exactly took place. It was 1940 or something. It could have been Pee-wee. Anyway, so gets his hair cut, gets out in time, and so I said, what's the hurry, Mr. Smealy? He says, I didn't want to put another penny in the meter. They're only good for 12 minutes. 12 minutes for a penny.
Millionaire.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he got to keep it all.
You don't spend it, you keep it.
That's right.
Nice gentleman. You remember him, Mr. Smealy?
No. I don't think I ever
lived on Grant Avenue when we were growing up.
Yeah, on the corner of Grant and Glen.
Yep.
Big White House.
Yep.
I remember his wife.
Agnes Kennedy Smealy.
Yeah.
No.
And the children, I don't remember him.
The grandchildren, knew all the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Well, let's see.
Yeah, let's see. What else is going on in town?
843-2500 is the number if you want to rescue us.
Today's a dark day at the track, so...
It is.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
Oh, you mean they're not... Oh, I thought you meant there was some kind of tragedy. Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah, they're not racing.
Well, that's a tragedy.
I see. I see the Sanford Stakes ran. Was that Saturday? I'm losing track. Yeah, I guess. Jerry Scrocky did a wonderful photo journal.
He had some nice.
photographer.
What a great photographer!
Yeah,
and he's got good equipment too, because they're as sharp as could be. Those, the horses racing.
They're freeze frame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what speed he must have had those on to get those pictures, but there's no blur. They're really
not at
crisp.
all.
Yeah. Very proud of him.
Great picture taker.
He is the unofficial photographer of the show with no name.
He does a good job, and occasionally he has some good comments that I agree with. Some that I don't, but
that's all right. He's got enough good ones to make up for the others.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right. The walkers are out today, I see.
Yes.
It's getting a little warm outside.
I walk outdoors.
Nice and comfortable inside here.
Yes, it is.
It is comfortable in here today.
Not too bad.
It's not cold.
We're ordinarily sweating in here.
Yeah, or nippy.
I can hear the machine running in the background.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What do we got?
Yeah,
we got
6
5
minutes.
minutes. 6 minutes. I don't know what happens after that.
Music.
I cleaned up my backyard a little bit the other day, so I can get at my oven, so I can hopefully
make some bread.
Make some bread.
You know what would be a good idea if next Monday you made some bread, So you could bring the bread in, we can sample it on Tuesday?
That's an idea. That's an idea. Yeah, but it's not gluten free. So.
Well, that's all right. I'll bring my own. I'm due to make.
He'll bring the gluten remover in with
due
him.
to make another loaf. Due to make another loaf. So nice having all the kids home this weekend. You know, sad occasion, but
good to see him.
It's very, you know, we had an all-family picture taken at the cemetery. Actually, about 20 of them taken, because you never know who's sticking their tongue out.
The one that was on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a nice picture.
I love that picture.
And the gentleman standing next to your daughters, those were their husbands?
Except for Diego, who's the boyfriend, who was on the far left. Yeah,
the far left.
That's
he's on the far. He's
Luis's boyfriend.
He's on the far left.
Far left as you're facing it. He's a Marine. He's on the far right.
Oh, so he's okay.
The far right, when you're looking at it.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, the men were with the wives and et cetera. Yeah.
Et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got two calls.
Okay, we got a call. Okay, this is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hey, I'm just wondering. You know, the mayor's been signing these things and then rescinding them. Yeah. I wonder if she's using invisible ink.
Well, that would work. Yeah, you know, if it's disappearing ink, that would work. Yeah.
I never signed that.
Maybe somebody ought to check her pen when she's signing these things, huh?
Yeah, that's very good.
Maybe she'll disappear.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Go on.
This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Mr. Nicosia, sir, I've got a question for you.
If I can answer it, I will.
I know you can. I know for a fact you can. I'm starting to do my own winemaking, and I know you were talking about it about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I got the vats, I got the whole thing, I got the siphoning equipment. I'm getting a lot of sediment. How many times do you siphon off before you finally don't get any of that sediment in the bottom of the bucket or into my bottles?
I usually do it twice, at least twice, sometimes 3 times. And if you use a siphon instead of pouring it, you'll get a lot of the sediment left in the original vat.
So siphon's
I do have a siphon that sits about like an inch off the bottom of the vat itself. The can, what do you call that bottle?
The carboy.
Yes. Okay. It is sitting off the bottom about I got the normal one that sits off the bottom about an inch.
Yeah.
But I noticed after my second siphoning, I'm still getting some sediment in the bottom. What am I doing wrong?
You're disturbing it when you're putting the siphon in. When you put the hose in the siphon, you got to put it in there slowly so it goes down to the bottom, an inch from the bottom.
Okay.
And then you siphon it, and that's all I do. I don't do anything special.
Probably when I'm pumping the siphon itself, I'm probably agitating it up, is what you're telling me.
Probably. How are you siphoning it? How are you getting the? How you get?
I have one that I can pull up and down. It's a siphon. It's a plastic tube that goes into the other carboy that I have. I have 2 of them.
Okay.
And I put this siphon in the bottom of the carboy, and I'm able to use like a suction pump type siphon.
Well,
it sucks it up, and then it uses by gravity. It goes in the way it's supposed to, siphon down.
I use the old-fashioned kind of siphoning. I suck on the tube, and I get the first
burst of flavor.
The first burst of flavor. Make sure it's good, and then I put it in the jugs.
I did that with the first one, Jim, and I ended up with only a half a carboy because I didn't want to stop sucking on the tube.
well, that's a problem.
All right, and then when I finally cork it, it's going to be fine. And if I do get the sediment in there, I can actually siphon off.
Yeah.
Just stay off the bottom and siphon it into another wine bottle.
I know. I got a cousin that makes wine also, and he racks his 3 or 4 times, and his is pure, crystal clear. I do it.
Well, that's.
All right, enough of the wine talk. We're at the end of the program. We got to cut it off. We'll pick this up again next week. 2 inches from the bottom.
Out there, Bobby boy.
All right.
Hey, listen, Bobby, real quick, my condolences. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right, that about does it for the show with no name. But before we go, it is my anniversary, and I've told the story many times, and I'm not going to tell it again. But as it happens, the song we chose for our first dance did not get played at our wedding for reasons that I won't go into at this time. But It happened to be the last song George Gershwin wrote before he died. He suddenly had the cerebral hemorrhage and died at the age of 38 or whatever it was. So this is for the wife. If you don't like it, the rest of you can tune out for a couple minutes, and we're going to the regular music. The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers, and how it all must end. Nothing seems to be lasting. That isn't our affair. We have something permanent. I mean the way we care. Now imagine Gene Kelly and Leslie Caron for the rest of this. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the show with no name and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may tumble, Gibraltar may crumble. They're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay. This is WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. We'll be back again next week.
WCSS.